Welcome to Aradel, 50 years in the past. It's a great place. Tons to do in sea, adventuring is good business, and gods keep everything in order, and the people of Aradel live their best lives. However, one individual was living his worst life. Vilna, a creature from the dark void below, had aspirations of power, but as he was, he could barely stand his ground in the void. 10 years had passed, and Vilna had slowly built strength and a following. From the smallest abominations to the most ancient of powers, the fears. Now, the fears, they are the embodiment of, well, fear. Or should I say, fears. Numbering 13 strong, the fears avatars, as you could say, started helping him to reach the mortal plane. While the wider world of Aradel was minding their own business and living life as usual, Vilna finally broke through and sweet-talked the current god of betrayal, Grail, so that he would introduce him to the rest of the gods. Once in contact with those gods, Vilna had quickly gained their favor and started to enact his plan. Through the unwilling help of Grail, Vilna had carefully laid a trap. Then, with traps set, he went to the gods and told them that the forces of the Void were mounting an attack, but failed to tell them the correct place, instead directing them to a barren land where his troops lay in wait. After the massacre of the gods, a 20-year war broke out and ravaged the land, turning it into the wasteland we know now. After Vilna had won the war and changed his name to Groa, he slaughtered the remaining people he could find, and any that were left were eventually consumed by the fears, now free of the void, and took cities and turned them into horrible fearscapes that made little to no logical or physical sense at all. With the world in chaos, Groa settled on remaking a small section of the world and naming it Coradel, essentially creating a plaything for him. And with all the god's consumed powers, he could do anything he wanted here, make new people to worship him and be his toys. Eventually getting bored, Groa decided to siphon off some of his energy to create a new god of betrayal as his son. Naming the new god Ryker, Groa had high hopes that Ryker would help him, instead of, well, betraying him, since he is the new god of betrayal. But, considering what Ryker is, eventually he betrayed him to try and help the people be free of his father. But it wasn't enough. Groa overpowered Ryker in a battle that burned down one of the cities, and in said city, a dungeon was constructed that would act as Ryker's prison. And once inside, Ryker was cursed with many, many magics to seal away his powers. A few months had gone by, and Groa summoned 3 people to aid him. One from another dimension, one from another plane of existence, and one from the mortal realm, from the other side of the mountains. And even with Riker's power being sealed away, he saw his opportunity and sent a mental image of himself to meet the summoned people, and tell them that they shouldn't listen to Groa. Those 3 people are as follows: Jax, Malkandire, and Harls. After freeing Ryker, they would travel from city to city, taking out Groa's forces and trying to set things straight. As time passed, Groa summoned one other to try and bolster his forces, but Ryker and his group got to her first. Her name? Thea. Soon after, they gained another companion in the form of a familiar named Kanani. With a full group, they went to 2 cities before they had finally had everything they needed to confront Groa. When once they did, they fought a long and hard battle, at one point having to fight a Tarask and a mind-controlled Ryker as an ancient red dragon. When all hope seemed lost, Ryker finally snapped out of it and took to finally destroying Groa. But the victory came at a cost. Jax would return home, and familiar Connie would disappear. With the group battered and bruised, all who remained went home. But just when they thought they had already lost enough, Ryker, still a massive dragon, felt himself slipping away, and everyone said their final goodbyes. Though when Ryker had died, he left behind a baby dragon for the group. And that's season 1, and a bit of a prologue for why everything is happening. Can't wait to see you in episode 1. Peace.